the Biden administration intends to alter the IRS's audit algorithm to target white, Asian, and mixed race taxpayers. That means you and me, Carrie, we're included in this.
Yeah, I heard about that, and obviously it's like still speculation at this point, but it's interesting that this is even happening, and the fact that we're included in it too. But
I know, I'm like, I'm not white, man. Keep me out of your white people problems.
I know.
Welcome back to another episode of Stay Oriented Podcast. My name is Casey. I'm joined by my brother.
Здравствуйте, товарищи. Yes. I'm Carrie. Hello, comrades.
Yes, he's a communist. Don't forget that, guys. When shit pops off with China, don't forget that. Just don't forget that. No, he's not communist. Although he likes to fly, although he likes to have red communist colors behind him, wearing some communist language on his chest. But yeah, man. What did we talk about this week? Let's get into the show. I always feel like we take forever to get into the show. Like whenever I'm watching our previous episodes back, I'm like, oh man, just get to the point.
It's like good 16, 20 minutes before we start talking about something.
Yeah. I'm like, we just start talking about some random crap that happened to me yesterday. And I'm like, that's not the show. That's not the point of the show. The show is to tell the world my brother's communist. That's the real point of the show is. And we're going to talk about, what do we want to talk about today? Let's talk about how communist China might be actually responsible for COVID. How about that? China. So up until, I guess, today being February 26th, Sunday, to say that China...
And it's February 27th for me right now. I'm looking at the calendar.
Oh, crazy. Yeah, because it's nighttime. We're right about to cross over into the next day. But up until today, it would be called conspiracy theory or fringe talk to say that coronavirus came from China. At least that's what the media would say, right? And I guess the super woke people in the world would say. But I feel like most people that I even just see day to day would be like, yeah, I'm pretty sure COVID came from China. And
it wasn't debate about whether or not it came from China, but it was how it came out from China. Was it the bat soup, the meat market, or the night market, or was it a lab leak? That was the debate amongst.
Right. Was it from bats or was it grown? And so basically, who actually confirmed it? So basically, the Republicans were all like, they've always been like, dude, it came from the lab. Fucking punish China. They have to pay for it, right? They have to pay for what they've done to the world. And basically the rest of the world's like, whoa, we don't know for sure. And they've been trying to protect China. At least that's kind of like what the Republicans are saying. And now, today, for the very first time, they have the energy department. I didn't know there was a department that was known for energy, period. But the energy department, and I don't know why they have anything to do with this, because COVID-19 is not an energy thing. I don't know who the fuck the energy department is, but they came out and they're agreeing that COVID-19 came from the Chinese lab, and now like politicians are like, whoa, it's not fringe talk anymore because the energy department has confirmed it. Who the fuck is the energy department?
I thought they worried about like fossil fuels and energy stuff.
Yeah, breaking news. The U.S. Energy Department has concluded that the COVID pandemic was most likely arose from a laboratory.
Don't you think it would come from like the CDC or, I don't know, somebody?
Yeah, so what does the CDC say about all this? I don't know. But point is, it's the first time that an American government department has agreed that it was a laboratory leak. and not just saying that it's some sort of conspiracy theory. Where I think a lot of if you're a right wing American, you're probably like, I knew it all along. We've been saying it for like fucking 3 years. What the fuck, right?
I kind of have my own little theory about it because, just past the 1 year anniversary of the whole Russian invasion on Ukraine just a couple days
Has
ago.
it been 1 year?
Literally February 24th. Yeah, 1 year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I've been seeing a lot on the headlines about how the U.S. has been warning China about helping Russia in the war. Yeah, so like this one NBC article says U.S. warns China that helping Russia in war in Ukraine would alienate it from the world. So now there's a lot more, along with the whole China Taiwan thing. It seems like, well, actually, it's pretty well known that I feel like China and Russia, they've always kind of been allies. Like they're not like buddy buddies, but they respect each other to the sense where they won't really cross each other's paths.
Are you talking about China and Russia right now?
Yes, China and
Oh,
Russia
okay.
relations. Yeah, they've
Okay.
they've been buddies. They're not like best friends, but they're just kind of like, all right, you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. You back me up, I back you up, kind of thing. I feel like is how the
They're probably just
relationship's
like,
like.
we're just too G for each other, man. Like, I'm like swole as fuck. You're swole as fuck. Like, if we did anything, we just fucking decimate this fucking world, man. Like, we just gotta like stay chill with each other. We're just too
I
G for
I think
this.
so. Yeah, I think that's how the relationship's like. But I know China's been suspecting. No, sorry, the U.S. has been suspecting China to maybe provide military equipment to Russia to help them, but it's not proven yet. That's just what they've been speculating. Who knows? They could be gaslighting the news as
I mean,
well.
it would make sense that they would aid each other. They're right next to each other, and their
Yeah,
common thing is that they're both communist, right? And they both don't like the U.S.
yeah.
The tension, the relationship with the U.S. is tense, and
Hmm.
for them to be right next to each other, they're both communist, both have a common enemy. It makes perfect sense for them to join forces together.
It does. Yeah, it
and
does.
and the way they're handling their smaller territories, so Russia to Ukraine, China to Taiwan, like it's almost similar, right? Like you got Russia flexing on Ukraine because you're like, the fuck, man, fall in line with the rest of Russia, and then China is like, hey, what the fuck, Taiwan, like fall in line. You're supposed to be Chinese. You're a Chinese people pretending to be someone else, and they're kind of like mad about
Yeah,
that, I
and
guess.
yeah, and so basically, I believe that I think well, I guess the energy department, whoever, I think they probably knew this information about the lab leak for a while because people have been talking about it for a while, and why would they all of a sudden now be like, oh, we think it's a lab leak? I think they said they had some inside sources that were pointing to
But
that
why
fact.
does the
From what I
energy
read,
department have the information out of
that I
all
don't know.
departments? Like, is
That
COVID
I don't
19
know.
a secret source of energy? Was COVID 19 supposed to be some sort of energy source that they're developing in the lab, and it ended up leaking and it became a virus in and of itself?
Who knows? But
Is it superpowers? Do we get superpowers if we get COVID 19?
that's what's gonna happen when the nuclear bombs come out. Just kidding.
Yeah,
But
we all have it in our systems now. We just gotta wait for the whatever it is to just turn our
to
powers on.
activate it.
Just
But
activate it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I think with the news or with this whole tension with China possibly aiding Russia, maybe that's upsetting the U.S. and now the U.S. is like, oh, like you don't want to play ball with us? Okay, now we're gonna say that COVID came from a lab leak from China or something. Maybe it was a card. It was a card that they were holding the whole time.
I see. So it's like a PR nightmare for China. It's like, oh, we've been holding back on either A, the truth, or B, we haven't been trying to make you look super bad in the media. We've been been trying to play nice, but now that you aren't doing your fair share of being nice, we're gonna get dirty with ya.
Possibly.
We're gonna destroy your reputation, as if you had great reputation here in the States to begin with.
Well, hey, they got great enough reputation for all of our shit to be made over there. So they kind of have
Yeah,
that
that's
over us.
true.
So like this Jake Sullivan guy, who is he? I don't know.
Who is
Part of the
he?
U.S. I hear his name all the time. He's let's see, I think he's President Biden's top national security.
Okay.
I don't know.
He's
I'm
not
just
from
thinking.
the
I think
energy department, is he?
no, he's the national security advisor. Yeah, Jake Sullivan. Yeah, so he's like with the Biden administration. But so he's threatening to have the U.S. alienate China, which I don't think that's going to do anything for the U.S. To be honest.
Why would the U.S. alienate China when half our shit's from there?
Exactly. I think it's going to be another ploy that would shoot ourselves in the foot, like the whole thing with Russia. Whenever the U.S. like put on these new sanctions on Russia last year,
And then
it really
every
shot us in the
party,
foot.
yeah, every party goer is like, I can't drink vodka, man. What the fuck, U.S.?
Well, no,
Where are we getting vodka from?
the biggest thing was the oil trading. I think Europe got most of their gas and oil from Russia. A lot of other countries get their oil and gas from Russia, and we used to trade with the U.S. dollar. They call it the petrodollar. That was the currency to trade oil. It was U.S. currency basically. And
Yeah,
with the US sanctioning Russia and Russia being such a big oil provider and also sanctioning their rubles, their currency. So now Russia's like, okay, to all these other countries, like, all right, well, if we're sanctioned and we're cut out from, the currency from the rest of the world or with the US, then if you want to buy oil from us, you better buy it in rubles, no more US
mm,
dollars. So
yeah,
now a lot of countries are ditching the petrodollar currency, and now
yeah,
they're using like the Chinese yuan or the rubles, Russian
yeah.
rubles.
So it stifles the American dollar.
It does, it does. So it's less. The demand for the dollar is less. Obviously to us in like Western countries, it's still very valuable and it's still holding pretty strong. But I think it's gotten weaker in the grand scheme of things because other countries around the world are now not using it as much. And I think people in the U.S. and like Europe and just like the Western world in general, like we view the whole world as just these Western countries, but there's so many other countries out there. Yeah, they might not be as wealthy, they have a different lifestyle as us, but they still count. So
Yeah.
I
In
feel
the words
like
of Trump, shithole countries. Yes.
yeah, yeah, and I know like India, they're pretty cool with Russia. I think
Are
you
they?
they are they are cool with Russia.
Wow.
They're just neutral to Russia, because I think I don't really know the geopolitics between Russia and India, but they're cool with each other. It's like, well, you've never done anything to me, so we're cool.
Yeah. Anytime that I see an Indian politician from India speak in the Western media, like with some British person, journalist or whatever, and they're trying to get Indian people to be like more like climate healing ish, or like trying to get them to be more like we're trying to save the planet basically. And then Indian people are like, yeah, I'm trying to feed my people, man. Like my people are fucking starving. Like I can't, I don't have time to deal with your fucking bullshit of like climate change. Like we need fossil fuels, period, because we don't have money to have investment in solar energy or fucking
Teslas.
nuclear energy. Yeah, we don't have Teslas.
I mean, maybe they do, but
we
they're not everywhere like how it is in
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
U.S.
It's a
Yeah.
different world in India, and I'm just like, yeah, who are we? Who is the Western world to How are we to say like we have to hold a different country with a completely different
Standards
lifestyle
and yeah, lifestyle.
accountable to the same things we're trying to achieve on our end,
Yeah, and
And it's like we just
I never really
we're in a
realized
different game.
this, but yeah, the U.S. we like to try to impose our views and beliefs on everyone else, and I'm very pro-American. I don't really like our government that much, but I wish the best for us for everybody. Us for all to be prosperous.
I wish the best for us too.
But yeah, like I just feel like the U.S. Government, we do try to make everyone else look like bad guys, but I don't think we're much different.
Yeah, we're like the crazy Christians now that we don't like anymore
Like we're here to
nowadays. I
save you. We're
think
here to save you.
we're
We're like
you
throwing
got to
holy
believe in
water at
Jesus
everybody.
Christ.
Yeah.
The Lord will save you.
You gotta believe in our democracy and all of the stuff that we're doing. Like we just saw the other day. Was it Alexandria Ocasio Cortez? She
AOC.
yeah, AOC AOC. She was basically like marching around trying to tell Japan like, oh, you need more LGBT plus equality, in your legal laws and stuff. And it's just like, well, it just, I mean, I get it, it's very big here. It's really big here in the US, but it's like, well,
She said, oh my God, it was shocking. It was shocking that they were just like, no marriage equality. Oh my God. And I was just like, what the fuck, man? Like, they
do
have a different
they,
fucking
yeah,
life.
do they want
You
it? I
know,
don't know. I never looked into it, but
they have, I mean, look, I want marriage equality. I want the LGBTQ to have a nice time in their life. I want them to feel like they belong. I want them to feel validated. I want them to feel included, right? And it's the worst feeling to feel excluded. But at the same time, we have had a lot of different conversations and dialogue here in the US in time. Like the kind of conversations the US has had with these types of, problems and issues, I guess, dates back. I mean, I feel like the civil rights movement, happened in the 60s, right? And I feel like that was kind of like the beginning of maybe also the conversation about, say, I guess marriage equality actually goes even further back. But like, the LGBTQ community, I mean, they started, having a space to speak because of civil rights. And so really it started in the 60s. That was that. How many years? That's 60 years. We've had 60
yeah,
years
it
of
took some
dialogue and we've
years.
gotten this far, So good for America. If this is the direction we all want to go in and have everyone have a place to exist where there's less scrutiny or whatever, then we got here through dialogue over time. I don't know if Japan's having that dialogue yet, and they have a completely different culture. The Japanese culture is very
You
particular,
know
if
what's funny?
anything.
I think fictional characters have more legal rights in marriage than LGBT plus people. I remember there was like a
Really
guy, it's a Japanese guy who married a fictional character. Looking at it right now, it was
interesting.
back in 2018.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Was it an LGBTQ plus character?
No, it's a girl character, but it's like a fictional character has more rights than LGBT plus
Oh my
character in the Japan.
God.
But like honestly though, I think Japanese people need to be pumping out more babies. There isn't there like a population declining or something? It's like you
Yeah,
guys are about to go
especially.
extinct. You guys, the last thing you really need are LGBT plus marriage. Like you guys need to have more babies.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah.
there's nobody's gonna be on your island.
Yeah, they got a different issue. Their
Yeah.
issue is like they're on the verge of extinction.
Yeah, really. I think I don't know. I don't. Yeah,
Yeah, I hear that they're the population of old people compared to young people. Like I guess like retired people to young people that are still working or whatever, still part of the workforce or whatever. It it tilts towards the old people way more. And when you compare it to any other country in the world that has old people
I
compared
think
to,
Italy might be up there too.
really, it's just they have way more old people
Yeah.
ratio wise
Hmm.
than the workforce, which it's really weird. So that just means, yeah, they're not breeding humans enough
Yeah, and that's
to
a
enter
real
the
issue because
workforce.
I feel like the U.S., like a lot of developed countries, might be heading towards that direction. Like you're seeing, this younger generation. We're not getting married that young anymore. If people do get married, typically it's older now. A lot of people are more focused on the career, more career driven, especially with like female equality. A lot more women in the workforce trying to like climb up the corporate ladder. A lot of them, not as many women are, getting pregnant early on, having, forming a family. And so I think we could very well be dealing with that issue in the future. We probably kind of are now.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, isn't that if I was a climate change person, I'd be like, that's a great problem. In fact, that's not a problem at all, because the problem is the world is way too populated.
That's what they
Our
tell us.
carbon footprint. No, this is fact from the climate change
And Bill
people.
Gates?
This is complete. It's fact. Yeah, Bill Gates. We gotta trust him. He's one of the richest men in the world. We should definitely trust his word.
This software developer now is like head of,
Yeah, there's no
all this
possible
other
way
stuff.
that he. Yeah, there's no possible way that he could possibly have some sort of weird agenda.
Totally,
I think
totally
he's
not.
yes. So I put my trust in his word, and our carbon footprint's too big. We have to basically eliminate ourselves from this world to save the earth, so that none of us can enjoy it. So none of us will be there to enjoy it. Just makes complete sense. It makes perfect sense. The less of us to enjoy it, the better. Not enough room for you and me. So, one of you or me, we got to go. So that just leaves one of you or me alone on this world. And alone we'll be. It feels fantastic.
Yeah, so I totally
not depressing at all.
Nope, not at all. Not nihilistic. But yeah, just feel like people are having less kids nowadays. It's fine if you don't want to or not, but does seem like people are just having less kids now, and we might be following the trend of Japan. Is all I'm saying. But our population is just much bigger to begin with, so it's going to be harder to, really feel that.
Maybe Japan has the marriage equality thing and the LGBTQ, stuff really backwards. Like they just got it fucking backwards. But they're very, very, very progressive in the climate healing department. They're just like, yeah, fuck our population. We gotta save these trees.
Very true. Yeah, they're beating us
and
out
these
with
ice
that.
caps. Yeah, they're fantastic at it.
Yeah, but yeah, like I remember Japan. It's such a different culture. Like whenever we met up with you guys in Japan, when we toured the Junbi farm and stuff. But before that, me, mom, dad, and Diana, we went out to explore Tokyo ourselves because we've never been there. I don't know if mom and dad have, but me and
I don't
Diana
think dad's like low key like
racist against Japanese.
He resents. Yeah, I wouldn't say the word racist because
well, yeah, I guess there's nothing to be racist about. He resents the Japanese.
He resents the history of what Japan has done to China. And if you're not aware of what the resentment is, it's or possible racism is, it's akin to that of Jewish people with Nazis. So as the Nazis were the let's say the disruptors of Europe, and they kind of went around and did their thing in Europe.
Japan did that with
Japan had their moment where they're just like, yeah, we're gonna get Korea. That's why Koreans kind of have this thing with Japan as well. Like just like don't really like Japan. And then Japan invaded China, and there's like the massacre of Nanking and all that kind of stuff.
I think the Philippines,
rape and pillaging.
I think there's a thing with the Philippines too, right?
Yeah. And Taiwan.
Well, actually, Taiwan likes Japanese culture a lot. I noticed that when we went there.
Because Japan gave Taiwan infrastructure. Because Taiwan at the time was like, because they were still new. They left China to be their own thing because they didn't like what China was.
They didn't like Mao Zedong. Mao Zedong's Communist Party took over China. So Chiang Kai-shek, I don't know his name. He took his people, his political party over to Taiwan to start their own.
Yeah, I don't know what came first, because World War II was World War II before the Mao Zedong stuff.
You're right. That was actually during World War, because Chairman Mao became Chairman Mao in 1949.
Yes, but we know that now.
Yeah,
and World War II is when Japan was like in its like Nazi uniform, Nazi mode, and they're like trying to get at these people and conquer them and kill everyone.
That was the 40s for sure. That was in the 40s.
Yeah, so I don't know what was in Taiwan then. They
have their own native people.
Yeah, but whatever they did at that time, it gave Taiwan a lot of
infrastructure,
affinity towards Japanese people, and then infrastructure, like a lot of the way Taiwan is built, the road. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very similar to Japan, and even like the food and stuff. Like there's a lot of remnants of Japanese influence there as well. So Yeah, I got to read up on that. That's a reading
Yeah,
I got to
but
do.
going to that whole like kind of like our dad not liking Japan and stuff. Um, we went to go see the robot restaurant thing in Shinjuku. And then,
Yeah.
really cool show, very entertaining. I had a lot of fun. And then we got out and then we were looking for food to eat. We're just walking around Shinjuku and we came across this restaurant and we tried to walk in. And then they did that thing to us where they basically didn't let you in, you know,
No.
but they don't tell you
No.
why.
No.
And we just noticed that the restaurant wasn't that busy, a lot of empty tables. But we noticed that all the patrons in there were wearing white dress shirts. So it was like their all of their
The
like
locals.
the local businessmen, who go out to
Yeah.
have what's it called?
And they all dress that way.
Yeah, yeah. They're having like their little happy hour with their coworkers and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And we did some thinking. We're like, huh, this must be one of those spots that we've always heard about where they don't allow foreigners in there. Like it's Japanese only. And
Yeah.
it was kind of a culture shock to me because
They're
that would
racist.
not fly in the US, You turn
Yeah.
somebody
You'd be
away
shut down
for
so
being a
fast.
foreigner, you're a racist. You're a racist, you're xenophobic,
Yeah.
you're a bigot. And we do not say the same thing about Japanese people when they do that. They have a strong sense of nationality that for some reason white people and white people countries aren't allowed to have at all. For some reason.
Yeah. Shit, man. Maybe AOC was right then. I think AOC had a point. Maybe
Japan's not
Japan
woke
needs to
enough.
be canceled. Yeah, Japan needs to be canceled on a global scale.
We should stop buying
Just
stop buying
cancel the entire
PlayStations.
country.
Forget about your what other stuff they have. Forget
Fuck
the
Toyota.
Honda.
Fuck Honda. Fuck Mitsubishi. Uh,
Um,
uh, Fuck your sushi. I'm never eating
not eating
sushi
sushi.
again.
Nope.
Sushi's disgusting. Not really. What else?
Sake.
Sake.
Fuck your
I
anime.
hate.
No more Dragon Ball Z. No
No
more
more
whatever anime
anime.
is super popular nowadays. There's like a million of them.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding. I love Japanese stuff. It's like the coolest Asian stuff. But yeah, I just had like a little culture shock. I was like, wow, I just had this realization. And it was a little frustrating at first when I came to that realization. I was like, man, I've never
How did
felt
it feel?
discriminated. I felt discriminated against.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, what the hell? Like just because of who I am, you're not gonna let me in? But then you start thinking in terms of that country's culture and their pride that they have and how they want to protect they want to preserve their culture, and which honestly I can't be mad at that. Like what's the point of like traveling somewhere if that somewhere does like no longer holds pride in their own culture and country, and they just become like
They
anywhere else.
they get watered down.
Yeah, it's like I want to go to Japan because I want to see Japanese shit and Japanese people. So I understand I understand why they feel that way, at least. And it was, and like
Yeah.
later on that night, me and Diana, actually, funny story. I might as well just tell it. But after we got food, we finally found a place that wasn't discriminatory, and we ate. And then our mom and dad, they went back to the Airbnb, and me and Diana wanted to stay. It was our last night in Tokyo, and Tokyo is so dope. Like I want to go back. It's one of the coolest places I've ever been to. And we wanted to go drinking, like bar hopping, just check out the nightlife. Because I guess being with mom and dad for a whole trip, it's like you're not really going anywhere at night with them. So we wanted to break away, do our own thing. And we followed this guy and this girl because we didn't know where to go. Everything's Japanese. We're in Shinjuku. We're like, there's got to be something. So we just followed this guy and this girl. They walk into this like second story building. It's like this little like shopping center type thing. They go up these stairs into like this establishment that looks like a bar. We walk in and it's like completely quiet, dark, and we're like, oh shit, like is this some weird cult thing? Are we gonna get murdered? Like, I don't know. And then we just see like these like Japanese dudes dressed up in like goth kind of clothes. I can't say I know a whole lot about Japanese culture. Like I like Japanese stuff, but I'm not like super into it like that. So I don't know. It's like some sort of club they had or something. And they were basically
Okay.
trying to tell us like, hey, this is like a club thing. basically tried to tell us very nicely that like we were supposed to not be there. And I just pulled out like Google Translate. I'm like, hey, we're trying to look for bars, or like we're trying to go drinking or something.
I thought you pulled out like some money. Like, here, take us in.
We were just so confused. So like I pulled out Google Translate, or maybe he did first. I don't remember, but that's how we were communicating. I was like typing shit into Google Translate and would spit out Japanese and vice versa. And they finally got the gist that we're trying to go drinking. And he was like, okay, follow me. And so we're like, okay. So this one guy,
yeah, you can drink, you just can't drink here.
So he tells us to follow him, and we just walk out with him. We're just following some random Japanese dude wearing golf clothes. And like we walked through this little like green like park looking area. It's all dark, and I mean, it didn't really feel sketchy. It was a really friendly guy. There's tourists and people around, so it didn't feel all like scary or anything. But it was weird. We're just following this guy, random Japanese guy.
Should we run into a wild rat attack?
That would be cool, actually. But yeah, he just takes us to this area. I don't remember what it was called, but there is like a bar hopping drinking area in Shinjuku. I'm sure anyone that's been there probably knows what I'm talking about. But it's just like this coolest like little like couple blocks of an area. And it's like the streets are so narrow, like maybe one car could barely fit through kind of thing. And so, he kind of drops us off there. We're like, okay, arigato gozaimasu, sayonara type thing. And then we just walk down the street and we find this jazz club, or not jazz club, like a jazz bar. And you just walk up these really narrow steps. It's really dark and dingy. And you get up there and it's like this really small bar, like, I don't know, the size of, like you could barely just walk around the bar and have a seat. There's no other space really. And we sit down and we find the one white guy there because he was the only guy that spoke English.
The goth took you. Oh, you got to go to where all the white people go to because.
Well, it was a tourist. It was a touristy area, but we went up to this bar. Everyone there was Japanese, but this one white guy.
Oh,
okay. So. Sit next to him. He's just from Australia. He was there for a business meeting or something.
Australia?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So we just ended up hanging out with this Australian dude, just talking to him. And then, we ordered, what is it? Those highballs? It's like whiskey and soda.
Whiskey highballs. Yeah, whiskey and ginger ale.
Yeah, something. I think it was just whiskey and soda. I don't know.
Oh, whiskey and soda. Their whiskey highball is different from a whiskey highball that you would refer to in America. I feel like an American, when you say whiskey highball, it usually means ginger ale.
Really?
And whiskey.
I don't even know.
Maybe I'm tripping.
I don't really drink.
You're the bartender.
Well, I don't really drink whiskey highballs, and I don't know.
Mate, you're the bartender.
So, anyways, we get our first round of drinks, and then. Service is kind of slow, but we're talking to this Australian guy, and they're just playing jazz music there. It was like random jazz. Like this guy just had a CD player, hooked up to the sound system.
Oh, I thought you meant like it was live music.
No. It was literally just a CD, but he would play random jazz. Like it was like African jazz, like any sort of jazz.
Oh, that's cool. That's really
jazz
cool.
You've never heard. Just, I don't know, just random jazz. He would just pop in a CD, let the whole track list play out. Then he would just take it out and put a new disc in, just let that play out. And he would just keep, changing them out. Like that's what he did. And anyways, we were at our second round of drinks and Diana ordered something. I don't know, probably the same thing. And Diana was like, man, it's
a haichu.
Haichu? Highball?
Yeah, they have a drink called haichu.
Oh, yeah. No, but they didn't have that there. Because let me get to this next part. So,
all right.
Diana orders another highball or something simple. We didn't ask for anything crazy. And Diana's kind of complaining about how slow the bartender was. And then the Australian guy was like, I don't know about verbatim what he said, but he was like, yeah, the guy's only got one arm. and then we look closely.
Mate, he's only got one arm.
We look closely and like, by God, he only has one arm. Like literally, like maybe... He's got the arm, but he doesn't have the hand. So
you've been drinking there the entire night, and you didn't know
we
that
weren't
he had
paying
one
attention
arm?
to him. But the Australian guy's been there by himself before we were there, so he was able to observe that. But we were there.
Well, yeah, when you're drinking by yourself, you literally in a bar by yourself. you notice a lot more shit
You really
around you
do.
than
You really do.
when you're in a group. You notice nothing because you're only like, especially when you're drinking, you're
Yeah,
only focused on your group.
you're conversing with
Yeah,
your
you don't know
group.
what the fuck's going happening outside your bubble.
Yeah, exactly. So after that, like Dana felt like super bad about it, and it was cool. You know, it was just like this little like.
Did he go like this or like this?
Dude, the guy was so old. The guy was so
That's
old.
so
Like,
bad.
I felt like all you could communicate to him was your drink order and to like close out your tab. You know, like there was
Yeah.
no talking to this guy. He was just so Japanese. So
Oh,
yeah, but
I
it
see.
was
I
cool. You
see.
know, we finished our drinks there, and then like us and that Australian guy, we were like, oh, let's walk down the street. Let's go somewhere else. You know, we've been at this jazz bar for like forever. So we walk around
Yeah.
the little neighborhood, just all bars, really lively. And then we saw this like bar that had a bunch of cats inside, just like cats everywhere. And like we wanted to go in
Mhm.
so bad, but we noticed on the door there was a sign that said members only. So it was like another way that they would kind of exclude foreigners from getting in.
Yeah.
Being
Yeah.
very polite about it. It's like, oh, sorry, members only kind of thing. So we're
That's
like,
true. They do
ah,
it in the most like nice, like humble way
yeah,
possible.
yeah. So I was like, oh man,
They're
that
always
sucks.
bowing to you and like, I'm sorry, okay, smile.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah,
nice.
so
It's
we
really
ended
nice
up at
there.
some other bar that had a lot more like Western people there, and I ended up talking to some Japanese guy next to me. He knew some English, and we just had a great time. And there were some other Australian guys there, and maybe I was eyeballing them too much because the guy looked like the dude from that one movie. What is it?
The Big
Big
Lebowski.
Lebowski. I just kept staring at
Oh, and
him.
an Australian Lebowski. That's
Yeah, he kind of looked like
hilarious.
him, and
Was he drinking a what? Russian?
I don't know. I think he was there for business, and I don't know. They were with some Japanese people, but there was like a couple Australians with some Japanese people, and I guess like I don't know. I just kept staring over there. I was like, man, this guy looks like the Big Lebowski. And then
Hey,
for
man,
some
it's
reason,
like
that
your opinion
Australian
of.
guy, the Big Lebowski looking dude, starts talking shit to our Australian guy. I felt bad. Like I felt like maybe I was staring at him too hard, and then he noticed, and then like picked on the Australian guy that we were with. I don't know. Our Australian guy didn't do anything at all, but he was like, oh. I'm from Sydney or some shit. And you're like, where are you from? And then our guy was like,
Rep your set, mate.
yeah,
Rep
it
your
was
set,
like that.
mate.
And our guy was like, I'm from Brisbane. And he was like, man, fuck Brisbane. I'm from
I'm from
Sydney or
Brisbane.
some shit. And then they left. But it was a cool night. That was probably our favorite memory of Japan was just being in Tokyo and just doing whatever. Don't know why I started
That's
going on that
awesome.
tangent. It was a cool story.
Hey,
It
it's a
was a cool
fond
story.
memory.
Yeah.
It's a fond memory.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do think Japan is.
It's the
It's very
cleanest. It's the
otherworldly.
cleanest Asian country there is. I honestly, I'm not a
Yeah,
huge fan of visiting Asia that much because I'm just such
it's
a
dirty.
clean freak. You know what? I'm not a clean freak. I'm pretty dirty myself. Like last week,
Yeah, you're
like the last week,
disgusting,
the shirt
communist.
and pants I was wearing, I wore like 5 days in a row.
Very nice. Good to know.
So
What about your underwear?
I will change out.
5 days in a row
My
too?
underwear, but like the rest of the clothes, if it's wintertime and I'm not sweating, I will wear the same clothes like consecutive days. Obviously, summertime here in
Yeah.
Texas, it's like 100 degrees, and I'll change out my outfit every day and take a shower. But that's why I like the winter. It's like, oh, I can just wear the same thing and not worry about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, so Japan is very clean. We have bidets in our house now because of going to Japan. I love it.
Gotta love
I
Japan for
love
that.
that.
Yeah.
Bidets are probably life saving. If you have the luxury to get a bidet, I highly recommend it. I love bidets.
That is something I don't understand about the rest of the world, why bidets are not a thing. Like we love technical advancements in all sorts of different industries, different realms of our world. We're like, oh yeah, we can
My feeling is that people are secretly homophobic. They're like, oh, water squirting up my butt? That's kind of gay or something.
But do gay people like
I feel like
bidets?
gay people would
That's the
probably
real
be
question
more
then.
open.
If that
I
were
think they'd be
true.
more open to using one. I love using them, because all right, maybe TMI, but I think I got like hemorrhoids or something. So like
Mhm.
so
you don't want to wipe.
no, well,
It hurts.
I cannot wipe too violently. If I have a little mess,
Okay.
if I have a messy session, it
It turns communist down there.
yes. So I like the bidet because it just makes me feel cleaner afterwards, and I just feel more comfortable. So I hate using public bathrooms unless if there's a bidet.
Yeah.
Even then, it's still kind of gross, unless the bathroom's super clean. But
What about in Japan? How did you
um,
feel about the public bathrooms of Japan?
like in the subways, they were still pretty gross. But
Yeah, but there's like some in the mall where it's like you get your own like compartment,
like the airport, their
and the
airport was
doors.
super nice.
Yeah, it's like blocked off from head to
Yeah.
toe. Like there's no crevice that's like other people can like look down, down and see your feet or whatever. It's like completely closed off. You get your like little music coming from the bidet, and it just
Oh
spritz
yeah,
your
they
butt.
do have those little jingles and stuff on there. Yeah, I like Japan a
Yeah.
lot. It was I wish Asia could follow suit and be more clean like them. So, I mean, I guess,
I mean, honestly,
if Japan
I wish America could follow
yeah, but
suit
I
too.
guess if Japan did take over the rest of Asia, it would have been like that. But you know, gotta pick your
Ooh,
battles.
that is a
Just
very
kidding, just kidding,
interesting theory.
It probably would have happened that way, but I'm glad that Japan did not take over the rest of Asia. For
It would have been
sovereignty
the fall of
matters.
communism. So you are a communist.
That's true. Communism would have never made it to China if Japan did take over.
Yeah.
But I mean,
That's
Japan,
so true.
what were they, like imperialists or something? Which I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what that means. I think they served their emperor basically.
Okay.
So they're monarchy, right? Is that what that means? Imperialism?
I,
Imperialism versus monarchy. What is that?
yeah, but like Great Britain, they use the term monarchy. They never use the word imperialism.
Okay, well here we go. Imperialism is a type of advocacy of empire. Imperialism is a policy of extending a country's power and influence through colonization, use of military force or other means.
Okay, so definitely, I think Great Britain was imperialist. They just never used the term themselves, right? Or I guess other people would. Then what's the difference?
That's the same shit.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fucking monarchy. Is an empire considered a monarchy? Both emperors and kings are monarchs or sovereigns, but both emperor and empress are considered the higher monarchical title.
So I would still say yes. Great Britain was still an imperial monarch because I think you can be a monarchy, but I think imperialism implies that then you're going out to colonize other countries and nations.
Yeah, in that sense, Britain
Definitely.
was definitely
Yeah.
imperialistic. Yes.
For sure. But
maybe a monarchy in its like most traditional, like old school definition. I'm not even reading anymore. I don't know. I'm just making this part up. But maybe what it means is you don't colonize. What you do as a monarchy, you just fucking take over.
Maybe.
Right? Because like that's what like fucking Alexander the Great did. He didn't colonize places. He just literally absorbed land and like made it part of his country.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I'm looking up the word imperialism,
is that considered colonization?
Let's see. Well, okay. So I think colonization is the same thing as imperialism, but without the monarchy part of it.
I guess. What country has a colony that isn't a monarchy, though? I can't think of a single country that isn't a monarchy that has a colony.
Let's see. All right, let's see. Colonialism is where one country physically exerts complete control over another country, and imperialism is formal or informal economic and political domination of one country over another. In a nutshell, colonialism can be thought of as the practice of domination and imperialism as an idea behind the practice. So it's like the same thing. So imperialism is just the idea of it, and then when you actually execute it, it becomes colonialism, right? Okay. I don't know, man. I get stuck behind definitions. Like we had to look up, what was that word we looked up last
Semantics.
time? I don't know. There's a lot of Googling definitions on our show, I would say, or there will be, because
true.
It's hard to remember what everything means. in technical terms.
True. But yeah, you brought up a really interesting concept. I never thought about like living in the West. I always think about like, what if Germany won? And we're all Nazis. Like Nazis took over, or uh, or what if England won the Revolutionary War and we're just like British people over here, and
We would be paying taxes.
we'd be
Just
paying.
kidding. We do.
We still pay taxes. Yeah,
You know,
we
it's
just
crazy. I
pay
was
it to.
listening to somebody, some video or something, and they were talking about how in the Boston Tea Party they were revolutionizing against the people in Boston or in the U.S. the early colonies. They were revolutionizing and rebelling against Great Britain over like a 1 or 2% tax over some tea and maybe some other imported goods. But
One to
now
two
we're
percent.
yeah, that's so little. And
Wow.
and nowadays we're like paying taxes. We're like wanting to pay more taxes in the name of like, equality or something. It's just very different. I feel like we've lost our American spirit, of no taxation without representation.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Did
Yeah.
you hear about the whole Biden administration trying to impose a new way of configuring taxes, where at least this is what the American First Group. I think my baby's waking up.
Oh, that's not good.
I also didn't turn off the baby monitor like I normally do. I think he's okay.
Okay. That's good.
All right, but yeah, Biden administration, they are trying to. Well, actually, no. First of all, there's a legal group. They're a conservative legal group called American First.
Yeah, I think it
They
was like American First, like it's legal or some foundation. It's like a nonprofit thing.
Yes, and they're basically requesting uh, all sorts of communications files, like phone calls to text messages to emails, between Biden's camp and the fucking IRS. I think.
It's the yeah, I know what you're talking about. Let me pull up this article. It was the what was it? It was like a specific group, Treasury Department and the IRS. There we go.
Treasury Department, yes. And so basically, this nonprofit group, they're saying that the Biden administration intends to alter the IRS's audit algorithm to target white, Asian, and mixed race taxpayers. That means you and me, Carrie. We're included in this.
Yeah, I heard about that, and obviously it's like still speculation at this point, but it's interesting that this is even happening, and the fact that we're included in it too. But
I know.
good
I'm
thing we
like,
pay
I'm
our
not white,
taxes.
man. Keep me out of your white people problems.
I know. But yeah, that just goes to like my whole thing from last episode or 2 episodes ago, or maybe both. But like, I feel like maybe we might be the next white people, in the way we'll be treated, especially with tensions ramping up with
Yeah,
China. It's all bigger part of this bigger plot.
yeah. It's weird. So like, if you're thinking about for like a media representation thing, we belong with the minorities. We belong in the underrepresented stories of Hollywood or whatever, right?
Hmm.
But then when you think about economics and like real world shit, like where Asians stand, we belong not in the minorities. We are jettisoned up into the white sphere of the world, and we get the shit end of the steak in that regard. We get the shit end of the steak in media representation, and we get the shit end of the steak in terms of taxes.
Well, hey, at least with Asians, I think we're one of the few minority groups that make more money on average than white people do in America.
Ha! Take that, white people.
Just kidding. We love white people.
No, we
Um,
don't. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. Oh man. Okay, so IRS. Could they possibly be doing that?
yeah, I mean, based on this article, because I was reading on it, what they're basically doing, yeah. So they're requesting all of these communications and documents to look for what the hell? Did I exit out of this thing?
I know I have it right here
Oh
somewhere.
yeah, I have
Okay,
it
so
on a
they're
different.
basically like it's the keywords, like the buzzwords, right? Like
Mhm.
if you upload like a video or whatever, or post something, the hashtags they're looking for basically is
They're control effing
yeah,
the all the communications and
exactly. The
documents.
words discrimination, discriminatory, race, racial, ethnicity, color, BIPOC, Asian, indigenous, black, brown, or white. Basically, find out if they're referring to these terms at all, and if they are, then they're they're gonna fight back on it. I guess
Yeah, and I saw that I think they have like 20 days to respond, and it's based on
they
the
haven't
article.
responded
It's
yet.
been like 5 days, so we'll see what happens with it. It could be a nothing burger. I hope it's a nothing burger because I don't know.
Sounds crazy.
I don't want to be targeted for an audit, but I mean, not
Yeah.
that I need to worry about it, but yeah.
Well, I mean, so here's the thing. Is this first American First Legal Foundation, this conservative legal group that's looking into this, are they concerned about the taxation brackets, and the taxation bracket being like, like if you look at the upper echelon of tax brackets, then yeah, I guess you do find more white and Asian people there. Is it a coincidence that like they think that they're targeting white and Asian people, and also mixed race? Can't forget mixed race in this.
Which is kind of messed up because you could be like a minority mixed race, like like a Hispanic or Hispanic and black
True,
person. Like would they fall into that mixed race thing?
true. So yeah, so is it really an equity action plan? What they're calling it?
Yeah,
Basically, they're saying like, is it really
it's
a
so much
thing about
equality that
race?
it just kind of turns into reverse racism,
Yeah,
and then it might actually affect the people that they were supposedly trying to help if you're
right,
mixed
right, right,
raced. It's like, are
right.
like Dominicans, they're like black, but then like Hispanic too. Like, are they considered mixed race? Like, how do you quantify that exactly?
They probably mean mixed race in terms of half white, half white of anything.
Mm.
Then you're
So
like,
if
then you're
you're
automatically richer or something like that. I don't
so
know.
if you're half white and half black, like
You're richer
you're,
than a full black person.
huh?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just bullshitting. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But like, are Jewish people considered white? Because
I think
because
so.
they're like another group that's like basically like Asian people. Like they're making more money on average than white people.
But I think they're white though. No?
I don't
I don't
know, but
see a
then
Jewish
but
box
then
to check
whenever
on the
you hear
census.
like, yeah, you're right, right?
I think they're white. Like as far as the IRS is concerned, they're white too.
Okay. Because then when you hear about like someone being anti-Semitic or talking about Jewish people, um, they're like, oh, that's racist. But then it's like, well, then they're not really white, then, right? I don't know. Honestly, we should probably just stop talking about them. But
Yeah.
with all the recent stuff
If
happening,
anything, the census is anti-Semitic because they didn't have a checkbox for the Jewish people.
maybe, yeah. Well, anyways, let's stop talking about them before we get into any trouble. But
But yeah, I don't know. I back to the whole IRS and the equity thing. Yeah, that'd be really fucked up if they base it off of race, with the assumption that white and Asian and white mixed race people make more money. They're in a higher bracket, and so they, instead of going by a number value of how to conduct taxes and audits, they're gonna go by race. That's fucked up because there's a lot of poor white people. There's a lot of poor
poor
Asian
Asian
people.
people, yeah.
Yeah. So like that's a really weird way. Now there's also a thought here, like I guess a statement here that says that black people are 2 point something times more likely to get audited than any other
Like
race.
currently, right now.
Currently,
Okay.
yes. And so that perhaps what they're trying to do with this new algorithm is to correct that, to correct it, I guess.
So
Like perhaps,
so what you're saying is that instead of them really actually targeting to audit more white and Asians, they're really just trying to correct,
not target black people.
yeah, correct their algorithm of targeting more black people. So then it kind of like evens out, and it's not really actually targeting more whites and Asians.
And if that's the case, then that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
Yeah,
I would like less audits for everybody.
Here's the statement in the article. A recent study from Stanford University found that black taxpayers are audited 2.9 to 4.7 times the rate of non-black taxpayers in the United States under the IRS, which the IRS randomly selects tax returns for audit. So the so-called randomly picks on black taxpayers is basically what the study is saying. And so in correlation with what the Biden administration is trying to do is to correct this problem. But then I guess the First American legal group is like, yo, this is, you're trying to punish white and Asian people. So
yeah, so it could be a big nothing burger, which I really hope it is.
Yeah, because that's just a really bad headline. The headline was, IRS is developing a new Biden-backed algorithm that will see more white and Asian people targeted for tax audits to boost racial equity. That's not racial equity. I don't know. You can't target someone else to make racial equity. What you can do is just not target the thing that is being racially abused. If black people are being targeted by the IRS for whatever reasons, then stop targeting the black people.
Yeah.
Don't counter in that by targeting more white and Asian people. Then they're just targeting everyone. It's just fucking weird.
Yeah, it's like saying, like racism and police brutality and all that stuff. It's like, the argument's like, oh, black people get pulled over more and stuff like that. And it's like, instead of just pulling over less black people, it's like, oh, let's just pull over more white and Asian people too then.
To make it equality, to create equality in our
it's basically the same train of thought right issued there.
But yeah, I don't know. Equity is it's a messy game, and
equity or equality. Those are kind of two different words, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they use the word equity like it's equality though sometimes. Am I tripping?
Here goes another definition thing.
Because equity, like in a house,
equity is about like having a stake or ownership in something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The words are just so similar that it's hard to keep track of when they use which one.
Semantics.
Yeah, I'm not a huge word person. All right. Quick definition. Equality means each individual or group of people is given the same resources or opportunities. Equity recognizes that each person has different circumstances and allocates the exact resources and opportunities needed to reach an equal outcome. Okay, so I think they're using equity the way they intend to.
Okay.
I guess I just didn't know exactly what equity meant. But
okay.
I would think,
quick before we.
Oh, go ahead.
Real quick before we end the episode. Equality of outcome or equality of opportunity?
The second one.
Yeah, agreed. So that definition you read about equity, I don't really like that much.
Wait, what?
The definition you just read, it was like controlling whatever, so that you can get.
Oh, okay,
equality of outcome.
Yeah,
that's two different things. Having equality to opportunity, and having equality to outcome. Two different things. Equality to opportunity is we're all given equal opportunity to do things in life. Equality of outcome.
NBA.
Huh?
NBA, we need some equity in the NBA. If you guys could lower the basket like 2 feet so I could dunk.
Yes, and make everyone run slower.
Yeah.
And just maybe just run on your knees or something.
yeah. Make anyone over 6'6" to run on their knees, or actually, just 6 feet in general, because I really need that extra that extra boost right there.
Yeah, you know, when people talk about equality, like every facet of society has like this conversation about equality, right? The only industry that doesn't really have this conversation about equality the way the rest of the world is having it is the sports industry.
Yeah, it's the only industry where it's perfectly acceptable to only be merit based
Yes,
by your
exactly.
skill.
Yeah. If you're not good enough, you're not good enough. And that's final, you know? But everywhere else in the world, it's like, oh, you're not good enough? Oh, okay. Well, we have this program that'll help you get in, you know, and also we're going to stop the best people from getting in so that you have a spot
Yeah,
here.
it's what is that, like a
It's
affirmative
nice.
action basically?
Say what?
Affirmative action? That's basically what that is.
Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's a very nice gesture. I don't deny that. I think it's great to lend a helping hand. But the whole equality of outcome, like when you're controlling the outcome of it all by pushing someone out to bring someone in, that is discriminatory.
It's like reverse discriminatory.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like they're trying to help somebody out by discriminating others.
Yeah, and I understand that the talking points on the other end. It's like, well, you know, people don't have they don't have the same resources to do certain things. They can't develop themselves, so they're just like on a bad, launching pad already in life. And these programs are here to boost them up, and that's great. I think that's a good point. Let's create more programs to help launch people up for a fair share in opportunity then,
That's what we need for the NBA.
Yes.
Adam Silver's. We need some affirmative action for Asians.
Yes.
Jeremy Lin's not enough.
No. We need shorter Asians to prove a point.
Yeah.
It's like
me.
Yeah. Like they had 7-2 Yao Ming or 7-4 actually. They had 7-4 Yao Ming. They're like, see, we got Asians.
7-5.
7-5. Fuck. They had 7-5 Yao Ming. They're like, see, we got Asians. So all y'all Asians just shut the fuck up. We got an Asian in the NBA. All right. And we're like, all right, we're happy. And then we move the goalpost. Like, nah, he was an anomaly. He was too tall. The Asians were short, so we got.
What about Asian Americans? We don't have any Asian Americans.
So then they go, we got Jeremy Lin. Okay, and we gave him Linsanity. We gave him this cool name for for that 1 week of an Linsanity play. And Asians like, oh yeah. That's exactly what we wanted. Okay, and now he's like, well, fuck, he got kicked out of the NBA, and he still wasn't short enough. Asians are shorter than that. We need some 5-foot motherfuckers in there. Fucking, where's the equality in that? Yeah, it's either we got to move the goalpost. That's what it is. It's all about moving the goalpost. You get one thing.
Man, I'm getting old. I need that last chance before my knees start giving out.
There you go. But yeah, I don't know. Equality is a messy topic, and
it is.
I don't know what the right way to do it is, but I don't know. Those are my thoughts, I guess.
I'm not in charge.
Yeah. If I was in charge, I'd probably fuck it up. So
probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd be so corrupt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just kidding.
Some other politician comes up to you and be like, hey, you want to make like $1 million? I'm like, oh fuck, really? Tell me you wouldn't think about it. I'm like, oh shit.
That's how it goes. Anyone who's not in power, they'd be like, oh, if I had power, I would do this, I would do that. No, but once you are in power, money starts coming your way.
Is God looking at me right now? Oh, do I betray the American people? Oh my God, $1 million. Ooh, annually, $1 million in my pocket. Ooh, Ukrainian company. Ooh, oh my gosh, what do I do? Ooh, my son.
You want to raise it to $5 million now?
Ooh, million, and then my son gets a job at the Ukrainian company. Oh, and he gets to sleep with strippers and smoke crack cocaine in hotels. Oh, what do I do? American people, tell me what to do. That's what that is. Yep.
Exactly. Yep. But yeah. Well, that was
this week's episode.
Yeah, that was this week's
episode. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, you know what? YouTuber mode. comment down below in the comment section. Let us know what you think about what we talked about today. And if you want us to talk about something specific, let us know in the comments down below, and we'll talk about it next time. And
Smash the subscribe.
smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and what else do you do?
Your tagline.
Stay oriented.